Hi, Chris Shank with CASEIH, here to talk about the 475, 41 foot, and 31 foot in rigid mode. Rigid mode is needed when floating hitch needs a little bit more weight of the machine to penetrate into the soil. So we utilize rigid, therefore we get the full weight of the machine on the blades for penetration. First, we talk about the tractor hookup. I always like to see number one for the tires. When I pull back on number one remote, I want to see the machine raise at the tires. Number two, I like to see tilt up. Number three, I like to see the wings fold in when I pull back. And number four, when I pull back, I want to see the roller lift. So when we're getting set for rigid mode, we want to go through and unfold the machine on a hard level surface, similar to what we have here. We're going to take all the remote levers and put them into float and shut off the tractor. We're going to come out to the single point depth control valve on the wheels, and we're going to run that single point depth control valve to go through and contact that single point depth control valve and recess the pin. And now on number two, we want to take the single point depth control valve for the fore aft, and we want to set a gap from the end of that paddle to the end of the pin, roughly a ½ inch. Now let's go to the back side of the machine and look at the rollers. On the rollers, we want to run the rollers in float. So we will remove all the collars on the rollers, and we will run these cylinders in float. That's going to allow the machine, then the rollers to float, okay? If I wanted pressure back here, I could put the collars back in. That would be in conditions where I want to go in clod size. Most conditions, you want the rollers to float in the fall, less chance for buildup on them in softer soil conditions. If I'm very soft out there, I also have the ability in rigid mode then to come and raise the rollers off of the ground and keep them out of that stickier soil. Other areas of the machine that I would set in rigid mode would be wing down force. So on wing down pressure on a 475 unit, we look at the wing torsions here on the wing at the end of the wing cylinders. When we're operating in the field, we want to see that for hard surfaces and so on, when we want to penetrate, we want to preload these torsions by leaving a gap between the red area of the frame and the black area of the torsion frame holding onto the wing. Another infield adjustment is the last blade on the left rear corner of the machine. When I am going into the soil fairly deep in fall, 3 inches or so, I may want to come back and loosen up the bolts here at the frame mounting to clock this arm back a little bit. When I do that, I will not generate a valley past the pass. In the spring of the year though, if I'm going only a couple inches deep or so, I can probably get by with the blade going all the way in and feathering that soil back into that profile and run that blade back in this position here. For more information on setting the high-speed disc, please consult your operator's manual, the quick reference card, or your local CASEIH dealer.